must therefore go into a national lockdown, which is tough enough to contain this variant. All over the world, we're seeing the devastating impact of this invisible killer. You must stay at home. Comes not from focusing too much on COVID, but from not focusing enough, from failing to get it under control. We now have a new variant of the virus. The number of deaths is up by 20% over the last week and will sadly rise further. My thoughts are with all those who've lost loved ones. There are just no easy options. The way ahead is hard, and it is still true that many lives will sadly be lost.
So do I do this vlog or not, is the question I've asked myself over the last few weeks. I mean, today's March the 20th, and according to the website of Johns Hopkins, the UK is 5th behind the US, Brazil, Mexico and India, with 126,359 deaths. Now, I don't know about you, but that figure is appalling. And I cannot fathom how a nation like ourselves can let that happen. It's inexplicable. It really is. I mean, we have a government which is, quite frankly, a circus. In fact, I don't think two of our most tragic comic characters, Basil Fawlty and Mr. Bean, who, let's face it, everything they touch turns to shit. I quite honestly don't think the pair of them on an acid trip could do an even worse job than our government. It is shocking. I mean, we have a government that is a circus, with its ringmaster, Bojo the Clown, and a troupe that's made up of the cast of One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But anyway, it isn't a rant about the government. It isn't a rant about the shocking situation we find ourselves in. Because, this is what this channel's about. But I guess ultimately, the upshot of the shocking figures, etc., has meant that our nation has enforced lockdowns. And this is what this is all about, this particular vlog anyway, and my experience of the lockdowns. And I just want to put out there now, before you start nailing me to a cross. That this is my opinion. These are observations that I have made from my own point of view, and I understand that everybody has a different point of view due to their circumstances, etc. So, before you tar me with the same brush as Piers Morgan, just, this is just from my perspective. So the lockdowns were brought into the country, and some may say good or bad. Have they done a good thing? Have they not? I personally think they probably have, and I guess the stats, the figures on the news outlets, through papers, website, TV, whatever propaganda machine you choose to follow, the statistics say that they are doing a good job. But I suppose realistically they're only doing a good job, and will only do a good job if everyone adheres to the same rules. And I guess that's the crux of this vlog, that ultimately the lockdowns and the behaviour of selfish people has somewhat tarnished and made life, certainly as a van lifer, very, very difficult. And therefore my opinion of what the future holds, etc., isn't a particular rosy one, and therefore is probably tarnished with a large degree of pessimism. So let's go back. The first lockdown was in March 2020, and in that first one I was parked up on my mother's driveway, and the only reason behind that was because I was a pussy and decided that trying to live my normal existence was going to be difficult. And at that point I had no idea what sort of shitstorm laid ahead of many van life folk and friends, etc. So I took the easy option and went on my mum's driveway. That was also sort of, I guess, pushed forward by the fact that my department had closed down completely, so I wasn't even able to go to work, so I had no option. And that passed by relatively painlessly, to be honest with you. Mentally it was a very different thing, but in the grand scheme of things it weren't too bad. And obviously your friends, etc., were having an absolute shit time on the road. The summer then came along, and then I had the option of going to the farm, where life was just a little bit more relaxed, and I had a little bit more freedom, and therefore the tail end of lockdown and coming out of lockdown was made a lot easier. August comes along and the department opens and I have to come back to work. I say have to because the majority of the people that work in my department have managed to somehow find a way of being able to work from home, but that's not possible with my job. So I came to work, and then the second lockdown came. Let's see, the second lockdown was November 2020, and because I was still having to go to work, I decided to stay in a car park at work. Chatted with security, got a loose sort of, it's okay, and spent those 4 weeks commuting the short drive from a car park to another car park on the campus, and had a reasonably okay time, apart from the things that were thrown at my van, the abuse that I got, the run-ins with people that were breaking into places that shouldn't be, conversations with security, etc., the rude looks. But it was 4 weeks that went by, and then we came into Christmas. But that was the beginning, and that second lockdown, with the time in which, you know, admittedly the government have now finally said that they made a big mistake, along with the fucking catalogue of mistakes that they've made to date, it became apparent to me then that this wasn't a nation under lockdown. There was nothing out there that said to me that this was a country in lockdown. I mean, essentially, I live on the streets, really. If you put it black and white, that's what I do. And so I see everything from my van and the perspective that I have. And I can say, hand on heart, that nothing out there had changed whatsoever. The volume of traffic was still the same. The amount of people driving into park-ups, lay-bys, etc. was the same. The same kind of shenanigans that happen in the evening, whether it be dogging, couples meeting up, guys blaring music while getting stoned off their faces, whores turning up to trucks, you name it, all of that was still happening. So therefore this was, in my opinion, not a country in lockdown. Roll forward to 2021, January 21, we're back in a lockdown again. On the back end of the failure and the fuck up that our government had achieved, therefore meant that we had to go into a longer lockdown. And because I was still at work and still trying to attend work, etc., I then had to basically carry on. But rather than just stay put in one place, I decided to just go to my normal park-ups. And these were park-ups that I've been going to for over 2.5 years now. These are park-ups that I have basically found, and they are there, which I've sort of sourced them, done a recce, and yeah, between you, me and a gatepost, my park-ups are shit. They really are awful. Most of them consist of basically lay-bys by A roads. They're not particularly nice. You know, I might have a nice view out that window there when I open the sliding door, but over here, it's just a road full of traffic and it's noisy as fuck. And again, all the shenanigans that are going on nightly in a lay-by. Normal park-ups, places that were quite peaceful, places by canals, woodlands, etc., suddenly were just being rammed with people coming from all over. I was seeing hundreds of people walk up and down this towpath of a particular spot that I used to go to, and the dirty looks that I'd receive, you know, peering into my window as my van, every single time I park it right on the edge of the car park to one side, out of the way, as less obtrusive as possible, etc. And the looks was just astonishing, and the amount of people I saw, it's beyond belief. It was unbelievable. Families, friends, you name it, all trying to social distance along a towpath. I mean, it's just impossible. And they were there in their hundreds. It was ridiculous. And this place, one of my favourite park-ups, some weeks later, the signs go up saying no overnight parking or camping. So a place that I've been going to for over 2.5 years is now taken away from me. I lost my second park-up, which was the one that I use at the university. And that came through a heated discussion that I had with one of the guys on the phone from security, and witnessing consistently the amount of strangers and random people who were just parking up and staying overnight in their cars, chatting, people breaking in over a fence and playing football, etc., all during a time when we are meant to be locked down and not doing these things. And there's me like a complete twat, diligently trying to stay out of the way, parked up in one corner, trying to adhere to the regulations and the rules, whilst everybody around me is breaking them. So another park up has gone. And then very recently, in fact just yesterday, March 19th, Friday, I drove for once, probably a little bit further than I should have in terms of its distance from work, etc., but a place that I've been to before, I would say a mecca, but it's not a mecca, it's almost like a small safe haven that this small town has done for motorhomes, and it's always been a nice place to be able to go just for an evening of respite and no hassle. The car park is closed, I go to another place that I've stayed before, and then the following morning I have a conversation with a policeman. I'll put the link to the video up here for that one. But I guess the crux of this is that what I've seen and what I've observed on the road within my locality close to work is thousands of people just going out. I think the lockdown has basically caused this mentality where people want to exercise that right of being able to go for a walk or do a form of exercise, but it's been en masse. And the nice little park-ups and places that were quiet and the places that van life folk find as little sort of hidden gems, etc., were just being swarmed upon by people who live in bricks and mortar. And I haven't got a problem with people living in houses, by the way, because, you know, you give me a set of keys to a house, I'd fucking bite your hand off for it. I'd love to live in a bricks and mortar again, because quite frankly, van life in the UK, especially at the moment, is shit. There's no other word for it. It is shit. But I guess the crux of this is the observations are that there are more people out there, and the small places are being overrun by day trippers. And I think it is going to make it harder for us in the future to find somewhere to park up. And then when we do come out of this lockdown, the amount of people who are going to book up the campsites, etc. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if most of the campsites are booked up between now and whenever. And those campsites hiking their prices to try and regain and recoup the earnings that they have lost, which I can understand from one point of view, but at the same time I think it's quite appalling what a lot of campsites have done. And there's some that I've tried to book on when I've looked, and the prices are no different, and yet when you look at the small print they're saying toilets and showers not available, and yet still charging the same extortionate prices. I just think that's a joke. Yet a conversation I had with the police officer, he's telling me to go to a campsite, which I'm saying they're locked, and he's saying no they're not, and yet, you know, I can't find a campsite for love nor money. But when we do get the opportunity to find these campsites, do you think you and me are going to be able to get a place on them? I very much doubt it, because the irony is the people that live in bricks and mortar who go out in their motorhomes and caravans for weekends are the ones that are going to book up all of those spaces. Because now we're a nation that's forced to holiday on the island of the United Kingdom. So, have lockdowns fucked van life? I'm forever a pessimist. I'd rather be a pessimist because, you know, in my experience, most things turn to shit rather than become nice. So, with my pessimist hat on, I don't think it's good. I think the freedom that we enjoyed has been taken away from us due to the jealousy of the people that have exercised their right to get out and enjoy the countryside. And I think because of that, when we do come out of lockdown, I don't think all of those thousands, millions that came out when they shouldn't have been out are going to go back to their sofas watching Netflix and playing PlayStation and scratching their arse. I think they will still continue to utilise that freedom that they found. And yeah, fair play to them. But I do think to some extent it may be to the detriment of the lives that we lead and the sort of experiences and, I don't know, nuances that we find amongst ourselves and van life and the experience that we have. Anyway, I'm going to cut this short here because I'll just rant and rant. Because I guess for a lot of us, you know, I'm no exception. 2020 and coming into 21 has been shit. And certainly when, you know, you live the existence that a lot of us live in vans, where you're out facing Joe Public. And again, I will urge you to not form your crown of thorns and hang me up just yet, because ultimately this is just an opinion from my perspective. This is what I see around the area that I live and work in. I know that for many other people it's different. Other parts of the country are a little bit more lenient. The places available are a lot more readily available. Some people have been lucky to find campsites, etc., or farms or whatever. So I know that this is just from my perspective, from my opinion. I want to finish and say that I do hold some kind of optimism, but it's very, very small. And I do think that van life has changed quite considerably. Is it irreparable? I don't know. There most certainly won't be a normal anymore. There will be a new normal for sure, but we won't be going back to normal. Cheers.